Good morning. Welcome to Franklin Township Board of Trustees special meeting on January the 29th, 2026 at 10 a.m. At this time, John, would you like to lead us in a prayer?
Yeah, dear Heavenly Father, we thank you for this day. We thank you that we have the opportunity to come before you and the township and do the business of the township. I ask that you be with this meeting. Be with those, Lord, that are in and can't get out due to the storm, and those that may have lost their power. For it's in your name we pray. Amen.
Amen.
Robin, pledge, please. Thank you.
Pledge of allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you, ma'am. Let's see. When you're ready, ma'am, can I get a roll call?
Trustee Fleshman,
Yes.
Trustee Blevins,
Yes.
Trustee Fuller.
Yes.
Okay, so I have a motion. These glasses, I picked up the wrong ones. A motion to enter into executive session per Ohio Revised Code 121.22 G4 and G8. Can I get a second?
I will second that, sir.
Can I get a roll call, ma'am?
Trustee Fleshman,
Yes.
Trustee Blevins.
Yes.
Trustee Fuller.
Yes.
So we're in executive session at 10:02. Okay. Can I have a motion to come out of the executive, or I make a motion to come out of the executive session, and I'm asking for a second.
And the time, sir, on that is approximately 11:47.
Yeah, I was gonna state that next. but
I
go ahead.
apologize.
No, it's fine.
It's not 11:47 anyway, so can we have the correct time, please?
No,
I have 11:47 on my...
I have 11:43 and that says 11:43.
Okay, so that's why I said
so
approximately,
we're
because
doing
everybody can be on.
11:43? Okay, under time, 11:43. Can I get a roll call?
Trustee Fleshman,
Yes.
Trustee Blevins.
Yes.
Trustee Fuller.
Yes.
We are out of the executive session at 11:43, and we will return to the agenda. First thing on the agenda is discussion or a motion to accept applications, resume, or cover letters for the clerical department. This was something that I asked to be put on there. We are, like I said at the last meeting, we are drowning in our clerical department, and we are in so dire need of what's transpired this last week to have people come in and so this will help us move quicker if we go ahead and start accepting resumes and cover letters and things like that. That's all this really is. Is there any conversations or anything?
I have a question. And,
Sure.
And I wanted to ask in our executive, but they had to go. So there's a couple things. I see everything that's coming up and that we're going to be voting on. The negotiations for the CBA is going on, and now we are adding those positions in the CBA, but yet we haven't voted that those positions, am I wrong?
We're not adding any positions
Yeah.
in the CBA.
Yeah, there's no positions.
The reason that I asked that, and I was going to ask, but we ran out of time, Julie called me, was it yesterday or something, and said that she explained to me that the 30-day extension was also going to be because there was going to be negotiations for the newer positions that may be added in those positions. So those were going to be negotiated in this contract. And I said, well, wouldn't we negotiate the contract we currently have, and then an addendum would go later versus putting those in? So that's just what she said to me.
Not while it's in open negotiations. You would put that in there now rather than taking another 3 or 4 months just to try to do an addendum to it. But the lead position will be in the clerical contract.
We're not even taking applications for that.
Right.
This is nothing more So I'll equivocate it like this. When Byron loses a police officer, he likes to be able to walk over to his filing cabinet and open up the filing cabinet and say, I've got applications here on file for police officers, so we're ready to go. We have nothing. We have no applications in a file anywhere. I just want to put it out there that the township is accepting applications. Nowhere in there did I say we were hiring anybody. I simply said that we're going to accept an application or a resume or something like that. So when we get past this hurdle that we're trying to get over, we're ready to rock and roll, if that makes sense. Does that help any?
It does. I
I'm
understand.
not asking to hire anybody or anything like that because we're not there.
Okay.
So it was just a discussion, and if we needed to have a motion, we're not spending anything. I'm just letting it be known that for me, one trustee, I think we should start.
So are you wanting a second on a motion to start collecting applications at this time?
I'll
or-
take it, yes, sir.
So I would second that.
Okay, any discussion? Hearing none, can I get a roll call?
Trustee Fleshman,
Yes.
trustee Blevins,
Yes,
trustee Fuller,
Yes,
you need anything else? I was gonna let you take over on this one, ma'am. It's, mine's not numbered, but it would be the, auditor's certification of the fire levy. Are we there?
are we doing, it's resolution 2026-023?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay.
If I may, Mr. Chairman, where did we just, the motion to entertain session and pass resolution, where did the number for the one, I'm confused, did we jump out of line on the motion that we just passed, or was that not in this? Or did I?
There is, it didn't have you talking about, it says on here discussion.
I think it's down just their version.
number 5.
Number 5, thank you.
Yeah.
I'll mark that then.
I'm sorry, John.
I was just
She did-
trying-
She did for me what she did for you. She made me a special sheet.
Okay.
So if you
Yeah,
want
so
to
number
look
5, you
at,
can
I
just
just wanted
check
to
it
out.
know
Yeah.
where we were. I'm check marking off as we
so
go.
we're gonna,
Absolutely.
so do you realize we're at 20, well, Robin just read 2026-023.
Gotcha, number 1 for us.
Okay, perfect.
Okay, I'm online.
Sorry
All right,
about
everybody on the right resolution?
Yes.
Okay. Do you need Bob to do any discussions or anything before I read this, or do I read it and then Bob can join in your discussion? I just want
Yeah,
to.
it would be up to
We
you.
can-
It would
We
be up to
can have
you.
discussion. We've just been educated that we can discuss before we read the resolution. So would you guys prefer to have discussion, or would you like to hear what is being offered up as the resolution? Then I will ask for a second, and then we can discuss then.
Sir,
I
whichever way
can
you
do it
like.
either way.
I'm fine with her reading.
That's
Here's the
good.
reason, I'll give a reason for
Yeah,
this.
yeah.
If Ms. Watkins reads this off, discussion can be had on exactly what is there.
I agree.
If you have the discussion first, Bob may not trigger something that was read and then afterwards. So it's better to put the horse before the cart.
I'm with you.
Okay.
Brenda, you good?
Good.
Go ahead, ma'am. Would you please read the resolution?
Absolutely. This is resolution 2026-023, a resolution declaring the necessity for levying a tax exceeding the 10 mil limitation and requesting the county auditor to provide certain information pursuant to Ohio Revised Code Section 5705.03B. Whereas the Board of Trustees of Franklin Township, Franklin County, Ohio, provides fire services through Franklin Township Fire Department, which services the unincorporated and incorporated portions of Franklin Township, Franklin County, Ohio. Whereas the board is taxing authority for the township. Whereas the board believes in the best interest of township residents to levy an additional tax for the provision of fire services to township residents. The submission of such tax is authorized by Ohio Revised Code Section 5705.19I. And whereas the board finds that the amount of taxes which may be raised within the 10 mil limitation by levies on the current tax duplicate will be insufficient to provide adequate amount for the necessary requirements of Franklin Township and its fire department, and that it is necessary to levy a tax in excess of that limitation for the purpose of providing and maintaining fire apparatus, mechanical resuscitators, underwater rescue, and recovery equipment or other fire equipment and appliances, building, site therefore, sources of water supply, and materials therefore for the establishment and maintenance of lines of fire alarm communication for the payment of firefighting companies or permanent, part-time, or volunteer firefighting, emergency medical service, administrative, or communication personnel to operate the same, including the payment of any employer contributions required for such personnel under section 145.48, 742.34 of the Ohio Revised Code. For the purchase of ambulance equipment, for the provision of ambulance, paramedic, or other emergency medical services operated by a fire department or firefighting company, or for the payment of other related costs. Whereas in accordance with section 5705.03b of the Ohio Revised Code, in order to submit the question of a levy tax outside of 10 mil limitation, pursuant of section 5705.19I of the Ohio Revised Code, this board must certify to the Franklin County Auditor a resolution requesting that the county auditor certify, 1, the total current tax valuation for Franklin Township, both incorporated and unincorporated areas, and 2, the dollar amount of revenue that would be generated by the proposed levy. Whereas in accordance with section 5705.03b of the Ohio Revised Code, in order to submit the question of a tax levy outside the 10 mil limitation pursuant of section 5705.19I of the Ohio Revised Code, this board must certify to the Franklin County Auditor a resolution requesting that the county auditor certify as applicable to this levy. 1, the total current tax valuation of the entire territory of Franklin Township, both incorporated and unincorporated areas of Franklin County, Ohio. Number 2, the number of mills for each $1 of taxable value that is required to generate a specified amount of revenue. 3, in the case of an additional levy, the levy's rates calculated using the rate described in Revised Code 5705.03b2d, expressed in dollars rounded to the nearest dollar for each $100,000 of the county auditor's appraised value. Number 4, the dollar amount of revenue rounded to the nearest dollar that would be generated by a specified number of mills for each $1 of taxable value. And number 5, for any levy or portion of a levy, except a levy or portion of a levy to pay debt, charges, an estimate of the levy's annual collection rounded to the nearest $1,000, which shall be calculated assuming that the amount of the tax list on the taxing authority remains throughout the life of the levy, the same as the amount of the tax list for the current year, and if this is not determined, the estimated amount submitted by the auditor of the county budget commission. And whereas in accordance with section 5705.03b of the Ohio Revised Code, upon receipt of a certified copy of a resolution of this board declaring the necessity of the tax, stating the proposed rate of the tax, expressed in mills for each $1 of taxable value, or the dollar amount of revenue to be generated by the proposed tax, stating its purpose, whether it is an additional levy, a renewal, or a replacement of an existing tax, a renewal or replacement of an existing tax with an increase or a decrease, a reduction or decrease of an existing tax, or an extension of an existing tax to an additional territory. The section of the Ohio Revised Code authorizes its submission to the electors, stating the term of years of the tax, or if the tax is for a continued period of time, that the tax is to be levied upon the entire territory of the subdivision, or if authorized by the Revised Code, a description of the portion of the territory of the subdivision of which the tax is levied, the date of the election at which the question of the tax shall appear on the ballot, that the ballot measure shall be submitted to its entire territory of the subdivision, or if authorized by the Revised Code, a description of the portion of the territory of the subdivision to which the ballot measure shall be submitted, the tax year in which the tax will first be levied, and the calendar year in which the tax will first be collected, and each county of which the subdivision has territory, and requesting such certification. The county auditor certified this information in accordance with Revised Code 5705.03b2 A through E as applicable. Now therefore be it resolved by the Board of Trustees of Franklin Township, Franklin County, Ohio, 2/3 of all members elected thereto concurring that, Section 1, the board finds that the amount of taxes that may be raised within the 10 mil limitation by levy on the current tax duplicate would be insufficient to provide an adequate amount of necessary requirements for Franklin Township and its fire department. Section 2. The board determines that it is necessary to levy a tax in excess of the 10 mil limitation for the benefit of Franklin Township in both incorporated and unincorporated areas for the purpose of providing and maintaining fire apparatus, mechanical resuscitators, underwater rescue, and recovery equipment and other fire equipment and appliances, buildings and sites, therefore, or sources of water supply and material, therefore, for the establishment and maintenance of lines for fire alarm communication, for the payment of firefighting companies or permanent part-time or volunteer firefighting, emergency medical service, administrative communications personnel to operate the same, including the payment of or any employer contributions required by such personnel under section 145.48 or 742.34 of the Ohio Revised Code for the purchase of ambulance equipment for the provision of ambulance, paramedic, or other emergency medical services operated by a fire department or a firefighting company, or for the payment of other related costs pursuant of the Ohio Revised Code 5705.19I. The sections of the Ohio Revised Code authorizing submission of the question are sections 5705.03, 5705.19I, 5705.191, and 5705.25. Section 3. The Franklin County Auditor is hereby requested pursuant of section 5705.03B2 of the Ohio Revised Code to certify Franklin Township Board of Trustees the following: the total current tax valuation of the entire territory of Franklin Township, both incorporated and unincorporated areas of Franklin County, Ohio. The levies rate calculated using the rate described in the Revised Code 5705.03B2D, expressed in dollars rounded to the nearest dollar for each $100,000 of the county's auditor's appraised value. The dollar amount of revenue rounded to the nearest dollar that would be generated by the following specified number of mills for each $1 taxable value. And then there's where you make your decision on your millage for continued period of time. There's a spot where you would fill in when you guys make your decision. An estimate of the levy's annual collection rounded to the nearest $1,000, for which will be calculated assuming that the amount of tax list of the tax authority remains throughout the life of the levy the same as the amount of the tax list for the current year, and if this is not determined, the estimated amount submitted by the auditors to the County Budget Commission. The above referenced proposed levy would be a new and additional township-wide levy, both incorporated and unincorporated areas, for a continued period of time, to be placed upon the ballot for the primary election held on May the 5th, 2026, and submitted to the entire territory, both incorporated and unincorporated areas of Franklin Township, Franklin County, Ohio. The proposed tax shall be placed upon the tax list and the duplicate for 2026 for the collection in 2027 if the majority of the electors voting thereon vote in favor of thereof. Franklin Township, Franklin County, Ohio only has a territory in Franklin County, Ohio. Nicole Randazio, Administrative Assistant, be and hereby directed to certify a copy of this resolution to the County Auditor and the Board of Elections of Franklin County, Ohio. If it is found and determined that all formal actions of this Board of Trustees concerning and related to the adoption of this resolution were adopted in open meeting of the Board of Trustees, and all deliberations of the Board of Trustees and of its committees that resulted in those formal actions were in a meeting open to the public in compliance with all legal requirements, including section 121.22 of the Ohio Revised Code. This resolution shall take effect and be in full force at the earliest point provided by law.
Sir, before I ask for a second on this, I think we need to have discussion because we need to determine that amount that needs to be filled in. How do you feel about that? Do you feel I'm correct? Or?
I concur with you, Mr. Chairman. It would only make sense when you're pinning the tail on the donkey that you know where the tail is.
Sure.
And for that reason, I would want to talk to the chief. He knows the exact millage that we need, where we're at. I do have comments in regards to dollars that would come in on unincorporated areas that are being annexed and how that would affect the dollars and the amount per year that would be guesstimated at this point in time. So
How would you like the chief to speak first, and then
I-
you could have his information to feed off of, or?
absolutely, please, if I may.
Yeah, so chief,
Okay, so when we last were operating both stations at full capacity, my budget was $6.1 million. So when we first initiated this type of levy in May of '24, it was relatively it was a good number just to generate 5.5 million of that budget through this levy, and then allow EMS billing fees, transport fees to fulfill the rest. Give a little extra, so going further into the future, the value of the township would go up. This would increase the 5.5 million that this would bring in. It can't increase a lot, but it's allowed to increase a little bit each year as the valuation of the property goes up in our taxable area. So looking now, the firefighters' contract hasn't changed, that's 85% of the budget. But their contract's coming up. I think I built in, when I did this the last time, just a 3% raise each year, going forward for like 10 years in this levy. At that point, was able to fulfill that. And that was because of that EMS billing and transport fees. So I don't see any reason why that wouldn't work now. I feel like that is the same. But we're 2 more years down the road, and at least 2, and more than 2 down the road, using that fire truck that's already 15 years old. So at some point, if this levy were to pass, we would need a new fire truck. They're $1 million minimum right now, still. So I don't know that that original amount of 5.5 million would include enough in the first few years to be able to get a fire truck ordered and paid for within the first 5 years of that. So because of that, I included that 6 million. I feel like that would be extremely comfortable, especially the first few years, to get a fire truck ordered and get it paid for in that first 5 years, without asking for any more money. Could we do it at 5.5 million? Absolutely. It depends on EMS billing. The new company we went with has generated substantially more than the company we used in the past. So I do think it's feasible that it could happen. It's just, it's more comfortable with that second number than the first.
I have a question, and it doesn't pertain to what, I know what you're talking about and you're better at it. So where are we at, because I don't know it off the top of my head, if we get this passed, we're talking into May, where are we at on recalls for the people that we had laid off?
So everyone who was laid off was offered their job back, and Tom Hilliard accepted, and the rest declined. So we are squared away as far as recalling laid off fires.
So
When would they
would that-
start, though? When would they start?
They wouldn't be able to start because we wouldn't collect this money until
27.
March of '27, so we couldn't start them before the beginning of '27.
So if I understand what you're saying, that would be all new employees coming in.
We'd have to hire 60.
And what we were paying, unfortunately, the people that we lost,
Yeah.
were making more salary wise, because you don't bring in a
Longevity.
new firefighter in, vacations, and you see what I'm,
that's a very
where
good
I'm
point.
heading here?
Yeah.
It's going to be less to run this house right now, or the whole fire department, because I don't know how you do intermingle, they can transfer back and forth or whatever, but I was just thinking along the lines of, for budgetary purposes, would that not be a consideration? I don't know that it's enough to make a difference in what you're talking about, but it came to my mind that it could make a difference.
I think it'd be a decent chunk, but not anywhere near
500,000 that you're
Yeah.
wanting to go up from 5.5 to 6.
Yeah, and like I said, I don't, because all of this is so, it's going to generate something close to this, EMS billing has been pretty consistent. And then when you add that second medic in, it's gonna start generating double what we have been making this year, or last year and the rest of this year, so. We should be good at 5.5 million.
Do you have anything, Brenda, that you want to add right now? Because I'm going to let John go because he has something prepared that I think to do, to speak to Bob about. You good?
I'm good, go ahead.
Okay. So in looking at, working on these before and understand, we came within 33 people of passing this. And I'm also speaking to the people that are watching this at home and that may have received my information this year. This meeting has taken place way before that. We are looking at properties that are being annexed. In 2004, approximately, a federal judge gave something to the townships called a township-wide levy. It's fairly new to a lot of people because no one's taken advantage of it. And what this law states is that since municipalities are basically eating up, call it the cities, they're eating up villages and townships. And when we lose that parcel of land, and we can give you one that was the old Delfell site, and it turned into the casino. So that was a big portion of tax money that came in back in the 60s, 70s, and 80s, even back in the 50s. What is that happens now is if a township-wide would have passed the last time or this time, any of these entities that have annexed into the city will then be subject to Franklin Township taxes. So basically, they're going to pay the fire portion as well, as if they were in the township up to a certain point. So those would be other revenues that were be coming into the township. The part that we don't know is, I've got a good story for you, what some of those properties on Treeview Road by Johnny's went for. You'd be surprised. Someone called me last night that sold their house to that developer. Properties that were on Treeview Road next to Johnny's there, just over the tracks. We had like 5 of them down through there. Roughly, we were hypothetically getting $6,000 or $7,000 for fire up and down through there. Well, those properties were rated around any from 175 to 220, depending. Now the rate on that, we don't know because the apartments aren't finished. So a lot of that Hague Avenue, Treeview Road corridor monies, if this levy passes, it's hard to put in how much we are going to collect. But if I'm not correct, we are not allowed to collect more than your budget. Is that correct?
More than,
Like for the taxpayers?
within, I think, 3% growth of that 5.5 million.
Okay.
So the tax rate would change to achieve $5.5 million of revenue.
Right, but it's not a windfall, like for instance, the way that this was structured is by moving to this type of levies that people have never heard. Number one, the board will have to pass a resolution taking off. This is the levies you got now. This would be the new levy. This one goes away, so you only pay on one levy, not both levies combined, correct?
Yes.
So with the, a windfall, meaning like for instance, it was guesstimated, when we went to put this on once before the casino has even built the new multi-million dollars for their, hotel. 10 years ago, when we tried this, they were looking at 1.2 million, I believe, out of a $5.2 million budget. So the essence of this is all these other parcels are going to be contributing and not necessarily just the people that are left in the township. Is that correct?
Right.
And that would be forever, correct?
Yes.
Okay.
That's all you have, sir?
That's all I have unless you
So
have
don't-
questions for
well-
me.
I think we have to decide, the three of us have to decide, which millage we want to,
I think
oh,
what
wait,
Julie
Julie said we did not have to decide.
Yeah, we can
Today.
get both certified.
So
Okay,
you just insert both of them into this resolution.
So,
And then
Yes.
decide by Tuesday's meeting.
Okay.
so my question to the board is, Mr. Chairman, I can make a decision either way. I'm anxious to hear what the board says, which way that they would want to go, but if board members need to take time to mill it over and get back on Tuesday if we have the time, it's up to the board, in my opinion, of which way you want to go.
so I guess I'm saying it sounds like we're gonna get one shot at this.
Absolutely.
And if we're gonna take, we're gonna step up there and take the swing at the plate, we might as well go for the
What we need.
6 million.
Yeah.
That would be my thoughts on it. I hope that all makes sense. I don't like
The
to
millage.
always do analogies and stuff, but I mean, for me personally, I think people, John's gonna get out, I'm gonna be with him. I told him I would, I made a commitment. And I don't understand fully every bit of it, but by the time I go with him and everything, I'll have it down and stuff. But, we're not gonna get another shot. We're just not. People are tired and fed up and saying, I'll stick with what people told me the last time. Mike, I just don't have the money. And so the way John's explaining it now with his hands and demonstrating, and that the levies that are on the books are gonna go away and this is gonna be your new levy, it makes sense. Because if we don't do this, to me, this is just me saying it, doesn't make it come true, we will never get this firehouse opened again, in my opinion.
So,
Sir?
yeah, I wanted to explain one thing and to the people at home. The last levy, had it not passed, and a lot of people are gonna ask the question, well, why didn't you just put this back on? I as one that wanted to. Mr. Blevins had a good point. We only have so many yards to go. Let's punt the ball and come back, educate the people, and try to then score again. Had the last levy that we did last November not passed, you would not have money to operate. Is that correct?
No, we've been very low.
I
So-
can quote, sir.
Go ahead.
I can tell you what he'd have had, because I asked him. He would have had 12 firemen. He would have had enough money for one officer, basically yourself,
Yep.
and there would have been no money for operational purposes. Correct? I mean, I went back and double checked this, and so for me, that would have left us at no firehouse. I mean, in my opinion, that's
Right.
just my opinion. So, but I do know the numbers, and I'm pretty close to being right, sir.
You're right.
So you realize, the board realize what that means is if you cannot provide fire or police, this happened like in New Rome. It's not annexed into a municipality, it would be, I just lost a word, it's, they basically dissolved. We would have then been dissolved because we do not have the funding to fire, and the township would have been no more. So that levy, you did I want to tell you, I thought 33 people, educate the people, I'm going to be out there anyways. You said it was too big of a risk. Looking at it again, it would have been a huge risk, because now looking at, we would have failed. If that would have failed, and I think you said we only get one bite at the apple. So I am saying to you that I wanted to just do it. But again, I forgot about the risk if it didn't pass. Not do we lose our fire department, we lose our township, because it would have been dissolved, because we can't provide fire to our residents at all, because there's no money left in those few. We can't run a 24-hour operation based on what you would have left. We would have been dissolved. So with that being said, sir, I think that if there's enough information here and we can move forward with a vote, I I would support it and move forward with it.
So ma'am, we never heard from you, so where are you at? Are you, would you like more
I-
time to think about it, or are you okay?
I agree, because if we're gonna do this, we're gonna do it right and let that be that. Because there's no sense in doing it and taking the risk if we just, say, well, we'll just go with the lower one, Well, I think we should
What we
consider
need.
doing exactly what we need.
I think this puts it to the voters, it's either yay or nay.
Absolutely.
It puts it to rest, one way or
Right,
the other.
right. The voters have the last call. We can educate and explain it. When I was running for office this time, a lot of the people, even in my information, which is generally, most people say for a politician, which I don't really consider myself a politician, you don't say that you want to raise taxes or add new taxes or et cetera. But what I wanted to do is be honest to the people and show them, we need to get behind our fire department. We need to have this and what it means to have a township-wide levy. And I heard so much from people, again, thinking that they were going to pay both. They don't understand this totally goes away forever. It can't come back. The board has to pass a resolution that states before the election that in passing of this goes away forever. The new one would take over, just one levy.
So listen to what I'm about to ask Robin to do to
Okay.
just make sure we're good, sir.
Okay.
So are you able to insert that into the,
May I see this just for one moment?
I'm sorry.
Yeah, what you guys will need to say to make sure that this resolution is complete is if you're agreeing,
You're gonna do it,
if you're agreeing to the 6 mil,
please.
then what you have to do is read the mill, because in here it's the mills. Like it
Okay.
says, depending upon which one you select, it says township-wide levy 5.5 million, which is a 14.65 mil. That's what we need for the resolution, is the mil. There's township-wide 6 million, 15.98 mil.
So that's what John needs to say?
And so you would have to say the mil, so I can insert
You have
that.
one?
I have one right here.
Oh, okay.
So you just have to decide, are you doing the 5.5, or are you doing the millions, 5.5 million, or the 6 million, and then read the number that follows
Okay.
with the
And we're-
mills.
So I'm ready to go.
Yes, sir.
So,
So, Mr. Chairman, if it may, I'd like to make a resolution on Resolution 2026-023 on this day of January 29th, 2026, yeah, all these numbers, 2026, that the board is inserting a 6 mil levy, continuing period time as permanent,
6 million,
6 million.
and then what does that equate in mills?
And mills, that would equate
Because you're doing township-wide,
He needs that paper back.
15.9.
15,
Oh, okay.
15.9, thank you,
15.9 mills.
mills.
Okay,
If there is no further question in said resolution that was read here today, with the additional added of 6 mills, 6 million with equaling 15.9 mil levy, continuous permanent levy, I would ask for a second.
And I'll second it. Can I have a roll call, ma'am?
trustee Fleshman,
Yes.
trustee Blevins,
Yes.
trustee Fuller.
Yes.
Okay, so from here, we just need to get this certified and
Once you
get
guys sign it,
moving.
I'll make sure it gets sent to the auditor for certification, and then we should have it back
This is the
tomorrow
page
or
that you
Monday at
guys
the
would
latest.
sign, this top
So
here.
on Tuesday, I will get with Julie so that the second resolution to put this on the ballot is ready to go for Tuesday's meeting.
So, Mr. Chairman, if I may.
Go ahead, sir.
One of the biggest confusions that we had with, I'm from the government, trust me. When you go to the auditor's site to do an evaluation, and I think you've seen this before in other meetings, it doesn't tell you that the old tax would go away.
Right.
The language and such, if we could work with Julie on the language if possible? Or does I've been told this by many times from a gentleman that's on the board of the election that said that, you guys are allowed to put the verbiage of how you want it to be on there. We need to be able to have a say on how it reads when a voter goes into the voting booth because it's so confusing. I heard from John Fleshman, I heard from the other trustees, and this isn't what they were saying because this sounds different. The confusion is what we need to try to clean up and make it as clear as possible of exactly what it is. Can you work on that?
Oh, yeah, that has to do with the Board of Elections, and they have parameters that they set, and then you can only work within those parameters.
But if you
And
could,
Steve did it last time and tried very hard to get it as clear as he could.
Can be, yeah.
And it came basically out exactly how,
So to that thought,
because that's
John,
what the Board of Elections.
Steve was just an administrator. John wants to put an attorney onto it.
yes, I'd like
So
to,
we want to find
Yeah,
out
for sure.
about you working with Julie now. She's able to maybe apply a little bit more knowledge and things like John has
Yes.
stated in the past. She sets up during meetings and gives her opinion. So I'm not sure how much Mr. Mazur's knowledge of this was and
Right.
everything. And so,
and then he just goes by what they say.
yeah, I mean, I'm not putting
And
it
then
down
when
by
an
no
attorney
means. I'm
says
just
it,
saying.
yeah, and then when Julie says it, it's like, wait a minute, Ohio Revised Code X, Y, and Z, we are allowed to do these perimeters. Then we have someone that actually
So,
has bite to it.
Basically, we're giving Bob permission to reach out to Julie and do that.
Absolutely.
You look good with that, Brenda?
Yes.
Do we have to pass anything to do that? or
No,
is
we
it
do not. We
Okay.
do not. So one of the things that we absolutely have to do is keep Julie in the loop of what's going on. Dates and times, okay, this has been turned in, this has been certified, send the certification to Julie. Because we are under the gun and we need to get this turned in. And one of the biggest things is the verbiage. What can we do with the verbiage and let Julie know ahead of time? That's one of our biggest concerns, so that no doesn't mean yes and yes means yes, and what it really means.
Okay, we're gonna move on, sir. You
Sir,
good?
I'm
Ma'am?
good.
Yes.
Okay, so Robin, I'm gonna ask you to take care of resolution 2026-024. It has to do with the PNC account. You have the information on this, please.
Resolution 2026-024, a resolution authorizing the closure of PNC Bank account. Whereas the fiscal officer's Microsoft 365 account was compromised, creating a cybersecurity incident that may increase the risk of unauthorized access to township's financial information. Whereas the Board of Trustees has a duty to safeguard public funds and to take prompt, prudent action to mitigate potential fraud risk. Whereas upon the recommendation of the township's informational technology professionals and fraud department and the township's bank, the board has determined that it is in the best interest of the township to close and reestablish the township's bank account as a precautionary measure while incident response and security remediations are complete. Now therefore be resolved by the Board of Trustees of Franklin Township, Franklin County, Ohio, that the following resolution be hereby adopted. Resolved, Robin Watkins, payroll specialist, the authorized signature, is hereby authorized and directed to close the township's existing PNC Bank account and to open a replacement account with PNC. The payroll and elected officials and township employees, including January payroll, shall be processed as soon as practical to ensure continuity of the township's operations during the account transition. Resolve, the township shall coordinate with its IT provider and/or cybersecurity professional to remedy the compromised Microsoft 365 account, including credential resets, enforcement of multi-factor authentication, and review for any potential exposures of financial credentials. Be it further resolved that the board finds and determines that all former actions of this board concerning related to the passage of this resolution were taken in an open meeting of the board, that all deliberations of this board and resulted in such former action were in a meeting open to the public in compliance with all legal requirements. Be it further resolved, this resolution is declared an emergency and shall take effect immediately upon its adoption.
I'm going to ask for a second and then we'll have discussion. So can I get a second, please?
Second.
So I'm gonna do Now I forgot myself after that, so I'm gonna call for a roll call and then we're gonna discuss it. No, we
No, no,
discuss it
any
now. You got
discussion
it.
now.
Yes, that's right. And so I just wanna say, so you two are aware, this whole entire conversation here and everything that has, Robin has just read and everything, we actually had Julie on the phone the other day in a meeting. We had Chief Smith in there and she has signed off on this and this is her recommendation, correct, ma'am?
Yes.
And so, that's all my discussion. Did you have any questions or concerns?
No, just to the public that may be listening, basically, anytime we have any kind of a hiccup or a breach
And that's
in the
what-
township's emails or accounts, to safeguard the public's money, to close the account, open it under another account with the same bank, prevents us from having anyone to do fraud or try to get a fraudulent check or something through because that account no longer exists and it's under a new account. So therefore, all the money just from one account just goes into the new account, which anyone that was trying to do fraud would not have access to. It just protects.
If it was only that easy, there's a lot of work on the
Oh,
backside of
there
this.
is. There
Over
is.
200 vendors have to be hand put into this and everything. And again, it speaks to why it's so important that we get more people in this clerical department. We just don't snap our fingers and this account gets changed. It's lengthy and involved. But other than that, I will ask for a roll call.
May I speak, Chairman?
Oh, yes, go ahead.
The document that I distributed was provided to us by Revolution Group, which indicates that the hackers had access to the fiscal officer's email for 8 days. And during those 8 days, those are the emails that the hackers sent out.
That they did what?
They sent those out. Those are all, except for maybe the first 10 at the very beginning of page 1. The rest of them are all emails that the hacker sent out on behalf of Franklin Township to those said email addresses on the right-hand side. And there's over 200 of them in an 8-day period.
Under someone else's name, like for instance, they
No,
hack in
under-
and use
no.
one of our emails.
It's our employee, I mean, it's our fiscal
Yeah.
officer. I mean, they used her name representing the township.
Okay,
All the way to Germany.
Wow.
So you can tell like subject lines, like where they're asking for proposals and different things like that. So,
and we could get the content of what they sent too?
I don't know that I can get the content, but I know that we at least were able to get where the emails were going.
Sure.
I'm not sure about the content at this point. But that is information that was provided to us.
Are we able to get this in a block email and then send something out to those, either through the chairman of the board or through yourself and say, if you received an email from X, Y, or Z of any of these, are we able to
I mean,
send them
there's-
and let them know that it was fraudulent?
I mean, that was a question that was answered through Revolution Group. It is something that needs to be provided through the township. They recommended it could be the fiscal officer that sends it out. There is over 200 of them, and they have to be individually sent. So that is,
Typed in, and I didn't know if they could just copy, here's all your
yeah, we
emails.
have to do that. Revolution Group said it has to come from us. That it validates it more if it's coming from the township versus a third party such as Revolution Group, because then it kind of almost looks like another hacker.
Seems like the person that should be handling it to me, but I don't know how we have her do it.
So, Mr. Chairman, if I may, afterwards, I would like to make a motion afterwards, if it's the pleasure of the board, that Ms. Justice sends out a response and CCs the whole board to every one of these emails saying that fraudulent hackers have got in, disregard the email that you may have received from Franklin Township. It was fraudulent intent.
Because Revolution Group provided us like a script. I mean, if we were choosing to want
Sure.
to send it out.
I just
So we
You know.
can't, we have to take care of this one first and then we can move on that, so.
So you just need a roll call. So you-
Yes.
do you have a second on this?
We
I
do not, do
Oh,
we?
I thought you seconded it.
Yes,
and
I
then we
did, I
cover-
did.
So,
Okay. Okay, so, let me just say. And trustee Fleshman,
Yes,
trustee Blevins.
yes.
Trustee Fuller.
Yes,
So before I move on to the next one, John, would this be the appropriate time to make your motion? for Ms. Justice to send out those.
So my question would be, sir, do you want to do it in this meeting or do you want to do it on Tuesday?
Oh, I'm fine with we probably should stick to this agenda. You're correct. I think we should not do it
I mean,
today.
I know we can add to the agenda, but I think the public should be aware more of this.
Robin,
And
can you please make
there
a
is an
note?
opportunity for Ms. Justice to be at the meeting as well.
I made a note that it'll go on the agenda.
So moving on, resolution 2026-025. This is the accepting the 2026 agreement with the law firm. I think it's pretty self-explanatory. We had a nice lengthy meeting this morning with everybody, and if it's okay, I'll just have Robin read the resolution and then we'll get into it from there.
Yes.
Ma'am, when you
Okay.
have a chance.
Resolution 2026-025, a resolution contracting with Brochus, Johnson, and Griggs Law Firm as Franklin Township's attorney for the year 2026. Whereas the Franklin Township Board of Trustees is authorized under Ohio Revised Code 309.09B to employ legal counsel other than the prosecuting attorney to represent the township and its officers, board, and commissions, and to provide legal advice. Whereas the Ohio Revised Code 309.09B requires such employment and compensation to be authorized by the board under its journal. And whereas the board deemed it necessary to appoint annual legal counsel for the calendar year 2026 for matters referred by the board or its designee. Whereas the board has appropriated $65,000 for legal services for 2026. Now therefore be resolved by the Board of Trustees, Franklin Township, Franklin County, Ohio, that Pete N. Griggs of Brochus, Johnson & Griggs and the law firm of Brochus, Johnson & Griggs are hereby employed on an annual basis for the calendar year 2026 as the township's legal counsel to represent the township and its officers, boards, and commissions in their official capacity and to advise them in connection with such matters as may be referred to said counsel by or on behalf of the board. The compensation of such counsel during 2026 shall be paid in the following: $235 per hour for partnering attorney, $215 per hour for senior associate, $190 per hour for associate time, $130 for law clerk, $115 an hour for legal assistant time, plus out-of-pocket expense reimbursements provided the total compensation does not exceed $65,000 without further action by the board. The attorneys may be discharged at any time by majority vote of the board. Be it resolved that all former actions of the board concerning and related to the adoption of this resolution were passed in an open meeting of the board, that all deliberations of the board and any of its committees that resulted in such formal action were in meetings open to the public in compliance with all legal requirements, including section 121.22 of the Ohio Revised Code. Be it further resolved, this resolution shall be declared an emergency and be in full force and effective immediately upon its adoption.
Can I get a second
I'll second.
discussion?
Yes, sir. If I may, I think that this number is going to be low. And Ms. Watkins, I'm curious if we can, what is our position? Are we able to set aside a little bit more due to some of the economic development in the area and utilizing our law firm more than we normally do? Will we be prepared for that?
I want to add to that if I can before she answers it. I think this may help. We have in the budget, I'm assuming, that we're able to move this around. It's in the general fund. We have money sitting there for an administrator right now. So if we had to pull some of these funds, that would be coming. A lot of those same duties that they'll be doing would be what the administrator would have been doing. So I feel confident Mr. Kirby should be able to move those funds from one account to the other. Now, you're going to know best, so I just wanted to throw that out there.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, the board, it's a board decision when you make, when you're doing something like it'd be like a supplemental appropriation, in deciding what account, if we would deem necessary to have to move funds for, legal services because of things outside of our control, then certainly we would have to evaluate the budget and determine what line item that we would be sacrificing some funds from to put into the legal.
I just wanted to throw that one
So-
out. Sure.
So that it can be done.
Yes.
So if that is a concern, I can certainly put that on my list to discuss with Mr. Kirby when it comes in.
So, Mr. Chairman, I asked a question and you beat me to the punch.
Oh, I'm sorry.
That's okay. So knowing that that line item was there, my second thing was going to be exactly what Robin said. My recommendation to the board is if we keep that line item that we have under administration there, and we know that that money's there, we know that we could pull from that for multiple uses throughout the year that pertain to economic development and things that we see that our contracts are gonna need renew. We all see what's going on Broad Street, the boom and the different things of that nature. I see the 65,000 for our legal fees is what I'm going to call the day-to-day operations per year that we need legal for. But I do see our legal fees exceeding that, and I just wanted to state that here.
Ma'am, did you have anything?
No.
I'm in agreement with you
Sure.
on that, and so I guess now I'll call for a roll call.
Trustee Fleshman,
Yes.
Trustee Levins.
Yes.
Trustee Fuller.
Yes.
So we're going to move on to Resolution 2026-026, authorizing an additional 30-day extension of the Teamsters 413 clerical CBA. And just for clarification before Robin reads that, I believe Jolie just enlightened us just in a conversational state when she came in, not it, you know what I'm trying to say. So everybody it would be no different than an email where we're at. So if Robin, you want to read the resolution when you get yourself settled there, and we'll move forward and see where we're at.
Okay, will do. This is Resolution 2026-026. This is a resolution amending Resolution 2025-209, authorizing an MOU between Franklin Township and the Teamsters Local 413 clerical office staff for an additional 30-day extension of collective bargaining agreement. Be resolved by the Board of Trustees of Franklin Township, Franklin County, Ohio, hereby authorizes and approved to sign an attached memo of understanding outlining the additional 30-day extension for the collective bargaining agreement between Franklin Township and Teamsters Local 413 clerical office staff, originally effective January 1st, 2023 through December 31st, 2025. Be it further resolved that upon ratification of a new CBA, all articles within and all benefits contained within the said new CBA shall be retroactive to January 1st of 2025. Be it further resolved that a copy of this referenced MOU and agreement shall be attached and incorporated herein as Exhibit A. Be it further resolved that all formal actions of this board concerning and related to this resolution were passed in an open meeting of the board, that all deliberations of the board and any of its committees that resulted in such formal action were in a meeting open to the public and in compliance with all legal requirements, including Section 12122 of the Ohio Revised Code. Be it further resolved that this resolution shall be declared an emergency and be in full force effective immediately upon its adoption.
Can I get a second?
I will second it. I had concerns, but I will second it.
Okay. Can I get a roll call?
Trustee Fleshman,
Yes.
Trustee Blevins.
Yes.
Trustee Fuller.
Yes.
So,
There's the resolution and then the chairman, if you can sign the MOU for the Teamsters.
okay, so I'm signing both,
That'll go.
and then,
Brenda,
yep,
and then
I'll
we'll just-
come back to me.
Mhm.
Then when you get ready, Robin, I'd like you to handle the next one, would be Resolution 2026-027. I was on the telephone call and everything, but this is another one that went through Julie, and you can explain it better than I.
Okay. It's Resolution 2026-027, a resolution accepting and enrolling in a security operation center service. Whereas Franklin Township, Franklin County, Ohio relies on information technology systems and electronic devices to conduct township operations to maintain sensitive and confidential information. Whereas Franklin Township recently experienced a cybersecurity breach, highlighting the need to strengthen and enhance the township's cybersecurity posture. Whereas the township's information technology management provider, Revolution Group, has evaluated the township's current cybersecurity environment and has recommended enrollment in a security operations center service to provide continuous monitoring, threat detection, and incident response capabilities. Whereas Revolution Group has provided a quote for the service at a cost of $15 per month per device, and Franklin Township currently maintains 17 devices within its inventory. Whereas the total cost of said service is $255 per month, or $3,060 annually, subject to change in the number of devices enrolled, and funds as appropriated for such expenditure. Funds are appropriated for such expenditure. Whereas the Franklin Township Board of Trustees finds that enrolling in a Security Operations Center service is necessary in behalf of the interests of the township to enhance cybersecurity, protect township data, and reduce the risk of future cybersecurity incidents. Now therefore be resolved by the Board of Trustees of Franklin Township, Franklin County, Ohio, the quote for the Security Operations Center services recommended by Revolution Group is hereby accepted. The Franklin Township Board of Trustees hereby authorizes the enrollment of the township's 17 devices into the service at a cost of $15 per device per month. Be it further resolved that all formal actions of this board concerning related to the adoption of this resolution were passed in an open meeting of the board, that all deliberation of the board and any of its committees that resulted in such formal action were in meetings open to the public in compliance with all legal requirements, including section 121.22 of the Ohio Revised Code. Be it further resolved, this resolution is declared an emergency and shall take effect immediately upon its adoption.
Can I get a second?
I'll second.
Discussion?
Yes, sir, if I may.
Yes.
Robin, if you may, or Ms. Watkins, I apologize. With this, I know we've been with Revolution Group now about 7 years or so. Is this a new service that they are adding, or was this something we didn't know that they did? I know we need this, but my question is why they didn't propose this to us sooner. Do they not look at our risk assessment as far as proactive versus, reactive?
No, I mean, I think that this is a service that has been offered to us, but due to the cost and our budgets being tight, that I think we paid for them monitoring our server.
Okay.
Like, if the server goes down at station 192, they call the firehouse immediately. Your server's down. We're working on it. We're maintaining it. So we were looking at it from a big picture. We don't want hackers in our server. That's where we addressed it from the beginning. What this service is more individual by unit, by devices, because they provide cybersecurity training every month. It comes through your computer.
Sure.
You click on it and you're educating the staff, which it is very low participation. And what they were trying to do is offer that service as part of, that wasn't an additional charge. They just sent these emails out. You go through the trainings as training your staff so that your devices are not compromised. So that was their step in helping save us money. You just take the training, help your staff educate, don't click on the wrong things, then you don't need to implement something like this. We do have very low participation. We found out through Revolution Group that Ms. Justice has not attended, not clicked on one of those cybersecurity trainings, not one, since 2024. And so that was the tool they gave us, was to help educate the staff as clicking on those trainings every month. That helps educate you not to do things that the hackers are out there doing. So I think their tool was to not cost us more money, and now that we've had this type of breach, which has now sent out 200 and some emails to unknown places and all the way out of the country, they're saying, okay, you may have a problem because folks are not participating in the basically I say the low cost to free monthly trainings. And so the best way to protect each device is by having it monitored individually through this service.
Was it not part of House Bill 96 also's recommendation when we were on that telephone call with Julie the other day that we would have to, like when we have to report and support? I
Right,
don't
it
want to
is-
say the words, like who we have to report to and all of those things. I mean, if you say it's free to say, I'll say it, but I mean, I'm just saying, I thought that was all part of it.
Yes, the House Bill 96 is very extensive, and I know the board passed it. We're in compliance with it. We fell out of compliance when the cybersecurity breach went into play, because part of House Bill 96 is that everyone is to be participating in cybersecurity training. The board has never mandated the training, but it comes through in emails. If you have an email with Revolution Group, you get these trainings every month that you just click on. I mean, I just did the one that came through the other day. They literally take less than 10 minutes to participate and listen in. And it's interesting because Revolution Group stays up on the latest hack, the latest things that are going on to educate us.
Constant emails on that.
Yeah, and they want you to partake, they want you to engage in those trainings. And, so yes, it's a part of House Bill 96.
Also, oh, didn't mean to cut you off.
And to answer, Trustee Fleshman's concern about why this wasn't brought forward, is I think they were trying to provide the lowest cost training, of giving the staff education. Then if everyone followed that training, then we might not be where we're at.
So how about where we are now with this breach and we learn when we're caught with our pants down, so to speak? Is there any more that we can do other than what we're now taking action on? Is there any more that we can do to keep the Franklin Township safe from hacking?
Well, I think this is the biggest step we can take. I mean, I'll ask that question back to Revolution Group, see if there's anything else beyond, because this was their
We
recommendation.
may take B package, but C package would do.
Right, and so I know that they're watching our server. That was our biggest concern when we brought them on, was to make sure that they're not getting into our main home, And in this case, this was an individual device. The problem with that individual device is there's multiple things on the device, and that's where that breach can come in. And so I will check with Revolution Group to see if there's anything more that they would recommend, but I know at this point, this would then be monitoring each and every device. So if an employee would accidentally click on something, it would be detected very soon, very immediate, versus the 8-day window that happened, unfortunately, with the fiscal officer's device.
House Bill 96 also says that you have to self-report as soon as you know that you've had a breach. And as of the other day when I was in the meeting and I had to move on to working on this agenda and everything, so I didn't catch myself up yesterday, I don't believe she's self-reported yet.
So can we self-report? I mean, it's beyond the point, but is there a certain
Well, Robin
point?
Yeah.
has to fill something
There's
out.
a lot involved with House Bill 96 in reporting back, because now that we have implemented the policy, we are following the law. I have 30 days, or the township has 30 days, in which to report to the auditors in the state. They have a formal fraud form that I found, and I sent it over to Revolution Group. They've completed their portion. It's back to me. I told Julie today, because she's a part of this, that I'm gonna have her review the form before it goes to the auditors of the state. And then we have to attach everything we've done.
We made a report with Byron right away, the night of. his
Right, and so
report
we
of the-
have not only Revolution Group's report, we have the police report, we have our conversations with our legal team, we have the conversations with our bank. Like, we're showing everything that we're doing proactively in this report. And then there's also Homeland Security that has to be reported to within 7 days. So I was speaking to Julie on her way out, because those 7 days are fast approaching. So we have to put together a report back to Homeland Security as well, to let them know we had a breach here in Franklin Township.
Okay.
So those are two things that are required under House Bill 96, which are time consuming, but once it's done, it's done. You hope you don't have to do it again. And it's been a learning experience for all of us.
Anything else, sir?
No, that's all I have,
Ma'am.
sir.
No.
Mr. Chairman,
So, guess, don't I have to, go ahead.
Mr. Chairman, just to remind you, we have a second on the table
Yeah, I
and
got that.
we're ready for, okay.
Ask for roll call now,
Yeah.
right? Thanks. That's
Yeah.
where I was going, but I'm glad
Otherwise,
you
I'm
told me.
saying I'm
I
done
was sitting here
talking.
in my mind, just making sure. So can I get a roll call?
Trustee Fleshman,
Yes.
Trustee Blevins,
Yes.
Trustee Fuller.
Yes.
And then the very last one is Resolution 2026-028. This has to do with the revising telephone tree. Did you want to have Robin read this?
Yes, please.
And then you'll know where we're at, and then
Yeah.
we'll second it, and
Yeah.
then we'll have conversation. Pam, do you mind?
Yes, okay. This is
So make sure this is
resolution.
what-
Yeah.
It's Resolution 2026-028, a resolution adopting a revised township telephone tree and accepting proposed changes. Whereas the Board of Trustees of Franklin Township, Franklin County, Ohio desires to maintain an accurate and effective telephone tree to ensure efficient internal communications and appropriate call routing. Whereas Trustee Fleshman proposed updates to the township's telephone tree to improve clarity, responsiveness, and consistency in call handling. Whereas the board has reviewed the proposed revisions and find it is in the best interest of the township to adopt the revised phone tree. Now therefore be resolved by the Board of Trustees of Franklin Township, Franklin County, Ohio, the adoption of the phone tree, the revised Township telephone tree incorporating the changes proposed by trustee Fleshman is hereby approved and adopted as the official telephone tree of Franklin Township. The township's telephone service provider is hereby authorized and directed to implement the revised telephone tree and associated call, routing, menu greeting, extension, and voicemail changes necessary to place the adopted revisions into effect. Be it resolved that all former actions of this board concerning and relating to the adoption of this resolution were passed in an open meeting of the board, that all deliberations of this board and any of its committees that resulted in such former action were in meetings open to the public in compliance with legal requirements, including section 121.22 of the Ohio Revised Code. Be it further resolved, this resolution shall be declared an emergency and take effect immediately upon its adoption.
Can I get a second?
I'll second.
Discussion.
Yes. I don't want to go back and rehash any of that, but as give you an example, yesterday, Robin, when I contacted you, you're the easiest to contact. But I had to listen through everything, then get to you and then hit another number. And just so happened, I looked down at my phone, and when your phone just rang, it was 1 minute. And what happens is a lot of people, I understand, because I was in a hurry going, oh my God, if this meeting, I'm going to be late. I had, in dealing with Morpsies, they've changed 3 meetings on me that I have. So I couldn't remember, is this the meeting yesterday or the day before that they were canceling, or do I need to make it to the township? So yours was the easiest to get to compared to some of the other ones. I just think that this would simplify when the people are calling in. I kind of feel their frustration because I was frustrated yesterday trying to get to someone because I don't have any of your back numbers. And I was wanting to do it quick because I'm ready to run out the door. So I understand someone that's trying and they're like clicking any number and then it just goes in a loop. So I felt their frustration yesterday trying to get through, and that's all I had.
Any conversation, ma'am?
I don't understand why we have to have such a long ass, sorry, excuse me, a long,
Tree.
tree. I mean, I just feel like it takes forever to get through all of it. No matter what you do, try to get where you're going.
Okay. So I don't necessarily have any discussion. I'm going to call for the roll call. I am going to say that when I cast my vote, I'm casting my vote because when this came up in the very first time, it was asked for someone to take charge of and do it, and I did it, and I did it to the best of my ability. And I had several meetings, invested a lot of my own personal time and everything. And so I know how I'm going to vote. And so you have any other comments?
The only comment I was going to say, sir, and I greatly appreciate you taking on it. I didn't pay that close attention what the issues was before. I never knew there was an issue until I was going door to door, and I didn't know what the people were talking about. And then after one night, a young lady, well, I shouldn't say, a person was very upset, and she asked me, have you even called? And I'm like, not really. So I went and called. That's where I got that. But I think one of the things is, and I heard in another meeting that one department head's like, well, I don't want to take any calls from solicitors. So it, in my opinion, puts work right back to Nicole.
Sure.
And I think we had too many cooks in the stew versus making it simplified. And as I told the phone gentleman that the reason these people have a job is because that's part of it. Answering calls is part of the job. To try to make it where you send people different directions, no, we want them to answer the phones. But anyways, that's it, sir.
Okay, so with that being said, if this goes through and we make a change, who's going to implement it? And I would recommend it not be you. So you and him seem to be oil and water.
I agree with that, sir.
So I don't think you should do it. If Ms. Fuller wants to do it and have a shot at this guy, or I guess I'm happy to come back in and get this done. My whole goal is I want this to go away.
I think, sir, that with what I sent him in red and what we've talked about, those changes, is pretty simple. I mean, he can do it within an hour. I don't think it needs to be a long, complex thing.
Can get a roll call?
Trustee Fleshman,
Yes.
trustee Butters.
No.
Trustee Fuller,
No.
Is that-
Okay.
So it stays as, is that I didn't hear what she said.
She said no, sir.
Okay.
So we're moving on. So the next thing is a motion to approve the audio, video, and meeting summary as the official record and minutes of today's meeting. Can I get a second?
I'll second.
Any conversation? Roll call?
trustee Fleshman,
Yes.
trustee Levens,
Yes.
trustee Fuller.
Yes.
Is there any trustee comments? I have none.
I have none.
Brenda?
No.
So at this time, I will make a reminder that our next regular meeting will be moved to Tuesday, February the 3rd, 2026 at 6 PM. We are adjourned and the time is, I'm confused because of the clock, ma'am. Can you tell me what you have since we've got
Okay, 12:57.
12:57? We are adjourned.